definitely disturbing, and it's unprecedented. And, um, it's really sad that they're doing this to Donald Trump, that Melania Trump has to deal with this as a wife. Um, Very, very concerning for America. If you guys feel me on this, definitely hit the like button for the video. We've got to put a stop to this. This has to end now, guys. This is unbelievable. We're hearing of America has fallen, that America is a banana republic. The Soviet Union was not as bad as what we're dealing with now. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing here. And you know, Donald Trump has said it from the very beginning that it's the Biden administration doing this. He's leveraging the FBI, the DOJ, lawfare, district attorneys, corrupt judges to all come after Donald Trump, which is his political opponent. And it's concerning. It's alarming, guys. So anyway, Donald Trump has finally opened up about his wife, Melania, and how this conviction has affected his family. Meanwhile, donations are pouring in as more and more Americans are now sick and tired of this political warfare that's being waged against the former president. And as you guys are now aware of, Donald Trump was convicted of a felony through Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's mission to take him down. And what many legal experts are saying now, even though, those who have admitted to be Democrats, a lot of folks, even folks who have admitted to be Democrats, are saying that, this is corruption. Both sides are seeing it. Both sides are admitting this, which is really what's surprising about this particular ruling, because Donald Trump is becoming a bigger threat to Joe Biden as the day goes by. And the reason that some have actually given is that it's because Donald Trump has been portrayed as a martyr. In fact, former Democratic presidential candidate Representative Dean Phillips called on Governor Kathy Hochul to do the right thing. Whether Kathy Hochul of New York actually does the right thing is another story, but Phillips is telling Hochul to pardon the former president just 2 days after his conviction. Now, I'd love to know if you guys think that Kathy Hochul is actually going to pardon Donald Trump. Now, if she does, this would be unprecedented, right? Now, this guy is no Trump supporter by any means, but he sees what's happening here, guys. Instead of pushing Trump down, all the Biden administration and the DOJ have done is actually lift him up. It's backfired, guys. Now, they've made him much more famous. Everyone and their mom is talking about Donald Trump and his trials, right? Not just here in our country, by the way, because this conviction is being talked about around the world. Matter of fact, if you are watching this show right now from outside the United States, please drop a comment down below and let me know where you're watching from. Which has led a lot of folks to wonder what he thinks about everything that's happening here, right? And so here's one of his most recent interviews where he talks about specifically why he's running for president. And this is really important to hear and to understand. Take a listen.
Well, look, I'm fighting for the Constitution. I'm fighting for the same thing that you three. I watch you all the time, and same thing that you do. You fight for freedom. You fight for your country. These people are sick. They're sick. They're deranged. I talk about the enemy on the outside and the enemy from within. So you have Russia, you have China. But if you have a smart president, you always handle him quite easily, actually. We have a lot of advantages. But the enemy from within, they are doing damage to this country. They want open borders. They want high interest rates. They now want to quadruple your taxes. Quadruple. All my life I watched politics, and it was always like politicians want to lower taxes, not quadruple them. There's a whole sickness going on right now. So we're doing really well. It was a tough venue. We tried to get out of the venue. We tried to get out of the judge, but we tried to get out of both. Wouldn't even think about it. So we had maybe the worst area in the whole country for me, in terms of vote. I'm sure if I sat down explained it to that section of the world, we could probably make progress. But one of the worst sections. And they always bring them to these sections, D.C., there, places where Republicans, not just me, Republicans get like virtually no votes. But the good news is that I think we've set a record beyond all records for fundraising. That's like a poll. And another one just came out just before I got in that we're 6 points higher than we were before. So I don't know if that holds up. I mean, I'm just not sure. But people get it. It's a scam. And the Republican Party is really, they've stuck. They stick together in this. They see it's weaponization of the Justice Department, of the FBI. And, that's all coming out of Washington. You may think it's brag. Take a look at who opened the case. I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have a gag order. I'm probably, I guess, the first presidential nominee and the leading crooked Joe by a lot that's not allowed to talk.
Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Yeah, quick shout out to Catalia, to all you guys who are in the live. Thank you so much for saying hello. We got Mildred Dudley. See a couple of folks from Alaska. Wow, we got people all over the place in here today. Thanks so much for saying hello, guys. So even though Donald Trump really hasn't talked too much, you got the gag order from the New York judge. It's very clear that the American people have seen what's happening, right? To attest to that, nearly 30% of donors that have set new records for the campaign donations for a president, they were first-time donors. To add to that, since Donald Trump's convictions, his campaign has raised over $200 million. And there's a lot of small donations that have been coming in and are contributing to this cause. Experts say that it's the biggest political backfire in history, or at least it will be if Donald Trump wins by November. Now, the numbers are probably higher now as I make this video, but you guys get the point, right? The American people are tired of injustice, and they're simply relating to Donald Trump. They've been screwed. Folks have been screwed in this country. They're upset. Inflation. They're tired of being lied to by the Biden administration. They're looking for change. All these lies. $200. Remember the lie? $200 extra every single month for every Social Security recipient. Have you seen an extra $200 hitting your Social Security paycheck every single month? I doubt it. He also talked about his family, and he said that it's difficult for Melania to take this all in. And as you guys might know already, Melania, she wasn't there during the last day of Donald Trump's trial, even though there were some family members of Donald Trump's who attended. And it's pretty obvious that this is a soft spot for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's typically pretty open, and he's a pretty, hard shell. But you could tell that this was a soft spot for Trump because he decided not to talk too much about this, as he's seemingly focused on winning the presidential election, right? But Trump has always said that, Melania Trump is a pretty quiet person. She wants to stay out of the spotlight. And so that's that. But what's also worrying for the Biden campaign is that Donald Trump's favorability ratings actually went up after his conviction. This was not supposed to happen, at least according to the orchestrated plan of the Biden administration. Again, this is a concerted effort to try to take Donald Trump down before the presidential elections for 2024. It's said to have a very positive impact on independent voters. Biden didn't want to hear that. The same voters that could change everything towards the end of this year. But what's President Joe Biden doing about this, right? Well, as expected, he's calling Trump a convicted felon. In an off-camera fundraiser in Connecticut, Joe Biden was quoted in saying that for the first time in American history, a former president that was convicted of a felony is now seeking the office of the presidency. Now, I think a lot of you guys probably don't even care that Donald Trump is now convicted as a felon, and that you'll probably still vote for him. And I think that this is the general consensus that A, folks who are now seeing that Donald Trump has been convicted of a felony, if they planned on voting for Trump before, they're still planning on voting for Trump. It didn't hurt him. But the shocking thing here is that folks who maybe were either not planning to vote for Donald Trump, or maybe were just kind of like, 50-50, kind of, on the fence on whether they're going to vote for Trump or not, they're now 100% all in, ready to vote for Trump since the conviction. So this was the worst. This is one of the worst things they could have done in terms of, knocking Donald Trump down. It actually lifted him up. This is the first. Now, keep in mind, President Joe Biden referring to Donald Trump as a convicted felon. This is the first time he's called Donald Trump this term. And the expectation at this point is that Joe Biden's going to keep using this term a lot during their debates. And it might even become a signature phrase for him all the way to the 2024 presidential elections. Now, he also said that he had nothing to do with all of this. Now, I want to ask you guys, this is a live video right now. Live video. How many of you guys believe how many of you guys believe that Joe Biden had nothing to do with all of these legal entanglements that Donald Trump is dealing with right now? If you believe Joe Biden had nothing to do with the hush money trial that Judge Marchand and DA Alvin Bragg brought against Donald Trump, let me know in the comments. If you think that Joe Biden had nothing to do with the Jack Smith case regarding classified documents that is being taken place in Florida right now, please let me know what you think. If you think Joe Biden had nothing to do with it, let me know in the comments. But if you do think that Joe Biden had something to do with all of these legal cases that have all taken place all of a sudden, let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Jeff Poor, thank you so much. Jeff Poor says it's all totally satanic. This is a coordinated effort, guys. Now, Joe Biden continues to say he has nothing to do with it. Now, some critics, though, they feel as if the shoe will likely be on the other foot once he leaves office. So I think it will be. I think if Donald Trump ends up taking the presidency, he's going to get some revenge. And I think a lot of people don't. There's some people who are for revenge. In other words, they believe that revenge is okay. Some people say that God should handle revenge. But others are saying, like, hey, if Donald Trump wins that 2024 presidency, he should get revenge on Joe Biden and all these other folks that tried to take him down. What do y'all think about that? Should you leave it to God, or should Donald Trump handle it himself? Some critics believe, that it's okay for Trump to get back at these folks that got at him. Which reminds me that Hunter Biden, the first son, is now a criminal defendant. Now, luckily for him, his trial is happening in Delaware, right? Now, a lot of people are just calling this a show trial. Many analysts believe that this is nothing more than a show trial and nothing is going to happen to the first son. What do y'all think? You think anything's going to happen to the first son? Because the way I see it is, there's so much news. It's so obvious and evident that the woke mob is coming after Donald Trump to try to take him down through the legal system ahead of this election, that they now say, hey, you know what? We need to make it seem like it's not us coming after Donald Trump. So I feel like they're using Hunter Biden as an example to be like, hey, look, it's not just Trump. We're coming after Hunter Biden, but the thing is they're coming after him with a charge that they know is not going to stick. This is literally just like, hey, look, it's happening to us too. Look, we got Hunter Biden. He's under investigation. He's on trial. But guess what? Hunter Biden's going to get let off. And if you guys saw my previous video, like a couple videos back, if you haven't, definitely watch that video. I explain why they delayed Hunter Biden's trial and how they worked in seemingly a coordinated effort with the Supreme Court to make sure that the rules change before he goes to trial. Now, if you guys want to learn more about that, I really broke that one down a couple videos back, so definitely check that one out. It was a live video. But now, while it may not necessarily be considered a crime, many critics of the Biden administration, they feel like he's fumbled our border crisis. Now, I think you guys probably agree too, that Joe Biden screwed up the border, that he created the border crisis we're dealing with right now. Don't look any further than day one of Joe Biden taking office. The first thing he did when he got the keys to the White House was he started rolling back Donald Trump's border policies, right? But don't look now, because he just realized he's the president of the United States of America. And with that being said, Joe Biden is now preparing an executive order for our borders. Can you believe this, guys? Joe Biden is now preparing an executive order for our borders now? Really? Now, you got to ask yourself, right? What happened to him not being able to do this before? I thought Biden couldn't do anything. What happened to the bill that they wanted the Senate to pass? Remember that? Oh, we got to pass. The Senate's got to do something. My hands are tied. I don't have the power. That's what Joe Biden told us. Was that a lie? Did Biden lie to us? I thought they couldn't do anything without Congress. And yet, here he is doing exactly what Republicans have been pushing him to do for so long now. Now, while we're not 100% sure as to why he's doing this, a lot of analysts are coming out of the woodworks. They believe that it's purely for political purposes. Now, although, it might be a good time to do this because news just keeps coming out every single day. Even New York Post, CNN News, MSNBC, ABC News, The Hill. News is coming out about how our police officers are being attacked by illegal immigrants. Just recently, 2 NYPD officers were shot by a Venezuelan migrant who entered our country illegally. They were both shot. And the suspect, by the name of Bernardo Castro Mata, he was a part of a mass amnesty program under the Biden administration. So this is directly linked to President Joe Biden's policies. This program released like 350,000 illegal immigrants into the country without tracking. No tracking whatsoever. Oh, you're free to walk about the country, Now, one of the officers was shot in the leg, while the other, who was luckily wearing a bulletproof vest, he was shot right in the chest. Both of these police officers, NYPD officers, were working on a robbery pattern that involved criminals that were on mopeds, right? So they tried to halt this individual as he was riding a scooter with no plates. They had to run after him after he ditched the moped, which led to the altercation. And of course, the shots were fired at these 2 officers. Now, Mata was reported to be living in the Courtyard Marriott Hotel near LaGuardia Airport in Queens, New York. That shelter is about a block from the shooting scene, and that's where there were around like 30 mopeds parked within the shelter. Now, thankfully, both officers were not fatally injured, although it's terrifying to think that the worst could have happened. All because the Biden administration thought it was a good idea to provide amnesty to people illegally entering our country. What do you think about this, guys? What do you have to say about this? This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But, this is what some folks are voting for. This is what we've asked for almost, So hit me up in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about this. It's just wild. It is wild. Veronica Boyd, Ron, I love listening to you. Oh, totally appreciate that, Veronica. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Katalia says, Latinas for Trump 2024. No matter what, my faith is in God, who is in control of all things. Amen. Appreciate you, Katalia. Let's see. John Bristow says, we've all had it with this crap. Donna Hall is responding to my comment earlier about the Social Security $200 monthly increase that President Joe Biden promised the folks who depend on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI, Donna Hull says, no $200 for me, and I get $870 a month. So yeah, there's a lot of folks that are tired of the lies. They're tired of being lied to. Wagon Load says amnesty equals buying votes. I mean, why else do you see all these sanctuary cities trying to get illegals to be able to vote in their local elections? Because they want to see, this is how they do. You got to start small and then they build big. They leverage these little sanctuary cities to incorporate illegal immigrants into their local election systems. So once they do that, they will try to propagate. And I shared with you guys on a previous video, they actually have a published playbook on how to integrate illegals into our country. So that, because the ultimate goal is they want to remove all borders so that they can have a one world government. I'm trying not to use a phrase that will get make the channel or make the video be demonetized, but I think you understand what they're trying to do here. So this is all part of a larger plan, guys. These are very coordinated steps that they're taking in order to carry out their ultimate objectives. So anyway, think World Economic Forum, think WEF, think World Health Organization. Anyway, it's all one big plan. But anyway, if you guys appreciate the video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for hitting the share button, sharing this video with like-minded individuals. And definitely check out my previous video. I dropped some serious nuggets on you guys. I hope you guys check it out. I hope you enjoyed this one. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.